Is Kang Yo-han a devil in disguise, or a godsend for a corrupt society? In The Devil Judge, Jisung delivers a chilling performance as a judge who wields absolute power to dispense justice. But is his ruthless brand of vengeance truly justified, or is he simply playing a dangerous game? In a South Korea ravaged by corruption and despair, Kang Yo-han emerges as a beacon of hope, or so it seems. With the nation's faith in the justice system shattered, Kang Yo-han takes center stage in a televised courtroom, dispensing his brand of justice with an iron fist. While his dramatic courtroom show captivates the nation, whispers of his true intentions spread like wildfire. Is he a hero fighting for the powerless, or a puppet master manipulating the system for his own dark agenda? In a world where trust is a rare commodity, Kang Yo-han walks the fine line between savior and villain. But what drives his thirst for power? And is his sense of justice truly for the people, or for himself? Kang Yo-han is a complex character driven by a deeply traumatic past and a twisted sense of justice. His motivations are shaped by a personal tragedy that has consumed him, but are they truly aligned with the greater good? Born into privilege, Kang Yo-han's world shattered after a devastating fire claimed his family. This event left him scarred, both physically and emotionally. His desire for justice stems from the betrayal he felt by the system that failed to protect his loved ones. However, his sense of justice is anything but black and white. Does Kang Yo-han truly want to change the system, or is he driven by personal vengeance disguised as justice? What do you think? Yo-han's goal extends beyond punishing the guilty. He seeks to dismantle the corrupt system from within. He believes that the ends justify the means, and he's willing to break the rules to achieve his objectives. His televised courtroom show, while captivating the nation, raises questions about his true intentions. Is he empowering the people, or manipulating them for his own agenda? One of the most telling moments is when Yo-han sentences a corrupt politician to death on live TV, all while smiling for the cameras. The crowd cheers, but was this justice, or merely a performance? Beneath his cold exterior, Kang Yo-han is a man haunted by his past. His abusive past fuels his desire for a harsh, almost vigilante form of justice. He believes that the system is flawed and takes extreme measures to ensure that the guilty are punished. Having been a victim himself, Yo-han shows a deep empathy for those who suffer, driving him to protect the vulnerable and punish the powerful who exploit them. Yo-han's traumatic experiences make it difficult for him to trust others. He often isolates himself emotionally, keeping his true feelings and intentions hidden. His authoritative and sometimes intimidating demeanor can be seen as a way to assert power and prevent being hurt again. The trauma of losing his family has made him distrustful and controlling. His need for power is a response to the chaos he experienced. However, his reliance on fear and manipulation often isolates him. Is he truly in control, or is he becoming a victim of his own game? In one scene, Yo-han is seen alone in his mansion, staring at the portrait of his family. This moment, without a single word, reveals the deep pain that drives his need for vengeance, and the emptiness that no amount of power can fill. Kang Yo-han's complexity is not just internal but also manifests in his interactions with others. Each relationship reveals a different facet of his character, providing a deeper understanding of his motivations and vulnerabilities. Initially, Kang Yo-han and Kim Jae-on seem like a typical mentor-student pair. However, their dynamic is more complex. Yo-han views Jae-on as a tool to be shaped, while Jae-on's strong moral compass contrasts with Yo-han's cynicism. At the beginning, Jae-on is skeptical of Yo-han's methods and intentions. He sees Yo-han as a manipulative and ruthless figure who bends the law to his will. This skepticism leads to frequent clashes between the two, as Jae-on tries to understand Yo-han's true motives and the reasoning behind his extreme actions. Over time, Jae-on begins to see that, despite his harsh methods, Yo-han's ultimate goal is to bring justice to a corrupt society. This shared goal starts to bridge the gap between them. Jae-on's presence forces Yo-han to confront his own moral boundaries. Jae-on's more idealistic view of justice often clashes with Yo-han's pragmatic approach, leading to significant character development for both. Jae-on's influence helps to humanize Yo-han, revealing his vulnerabilities and the emotional scars from his past. This dynamic adds depth to Yo-han's character, making him more relatable to the audience. Their relationship is marked by tension and evolution. Yo-han's control over Jae-yeon wavers as Jae-yeon questions his methods. Is Jae-yeon becoming Yo-han's conscience, or is Yo-han using Jae-yeon to justify his ruthlessness? A pivotal moment occurs when Jae-yeon confronts Yo-han about his extreme methods. The look on Yo-han's face reveals a man disturbed by the reflection of his own lost innocence. Kang Yo-han and young Sunah are adversaries with a strange intimacy. Their shared understanding of power and manipulation creates a compelling dynamic. Sunah represents a reflection of Yo-han's darker instincts, while their relationship is a constant game of power. Young Sunah was once a maid in Yo-han's household. During this time, she developed an obsession with him, which continued into adulthood. Sunah's feelings for Yo-han are complex, blending admiration, obsession, and a desire for power. Yo-han, however, views her with a mix of disdain and caution. Yo-han sees Sunah as his nemesis. She is the executive director of the Social Responsibility Foundation and wields significant influence over political and economic spheres. Sunah uses her connections and cunning to manipulate situations to her advantage, often clashing with Yo-han's plans. Their interactions are a constant power struggle, with each trying to outmaneuver the other. Is their connection purely adversarial, or is there an underlying mutual respect, even attraction, between these two powerhouses? Sunah challenges Yo-han with a smirk, aware of the tightrope he's walking. The tension between them is palpable, not just because they are enemies, but because they understand each other in a way no one else does. Elijah reveals Kang Yo-han's vulnerable side. Their relationship is strained by grief and resentment, but Yo-han's protectiveness shows his capacity for love and empathy. Elijah is Yo-han's niece. After the tragic fire that killed her parents and left her paralyzed, Yo-han became her guardian. Elijah harbors resentment towards Yo-han, mistakenly believing he was responsible for the fire that took her parents' lives. This misunderstanding creates a significant emotional barrier between them. Despite the strained relationship, Yo-han is fiercely protective of Elijah. He ensures she has the best care and education, even arranging for her to study online at Stanford. Yo-han prioritizes Elijah's safety above all else. For instance, he sends her to a rehabilitation center in Switzerland to keep her away from the dangers surrounding him. Throughout the series, Yo-han makes efforts to bridge the gap between them, trying to show Elijah that he genuinely cares for her well-being. With help from Jae-yeon, Elijah represents the only person for whom Yo-han is willing to put his life on the line. His love for her is the purest thing in his life, but it also raises questions about his limits and the cost he's willing to pay. A particularly emotional scene occurs when Yo-han tries to prevent Elijah from seeing a video of the fire. He is protecting her from discovering she started the fire that killed her parents. His face reveals the cracks in his cold exterior, showing the true depth of his pain and his capacity to care. And Jisung nails this scene. He is able to sell you on the pain Kang Yo-han is feeling.
이제 진실을 알 때가 됐지.
With that, I think we should talk about Jisung's performance as Kang Yo-han. Jisung masterfully captures the dual nature of Kang Yo-han, portraying him as both a ruthless judge and a deeply scarred individual. His ability to switch between these facets adds a compelling layer to the character. He brings a profound emotional depth to Yo-han, especially in scenes that delve into his traumatic past and his complex relationships with other characters. Jisung's physical presence on screen is commanding. His portrayal of Yo-han's authoritative and sometimes intimidating demeanor is both believable and impactful. He uses subtle facial expressions and body language to convey Yo-han's inner turmoil and conflicting emotions, making the character's struggles more relatable to the audience. Jisung showcases a wide range of emotions, from cold and calculating to vulnerable and empathetic. This versatility is crucial in portraying a character as morally ambiguous as Yo-han. His interactions with other characters, such as Kim Jae-yeon and young Sunah, are dynamic and layered, reflecting the complex relationships and power struggles within the series. Critics and fans alike have lauded Jisung's performance. His ability to bring such a multifaceted character to life has been highlighted as one of the standout elements of the show. Jisung's performance is a significant factor in the success of The Devil Judge, making Kang Yo-han one of the most memorable characters in recent K-drama history. Kang Yo-han embodies a morally gray character, challenging traditional notions of right and wrong. His brand of justice raises essential questions about the ethical implications of his actions. While he claims to fight for the oppressed, his methods often blur the lines between justice and vengeance. Yo-han's willingness to employ violence as a means to an end sets him apart from conventional heroes. He believes that the corrupt deserve no mercy, yet this perspective often leads him down a path of destruction. His actions provoke a critical examination of whether ends justify the means, and at what cost does justice come? His abusive childhood and the loss of his brother have left deep emotional scars, influencing his harsh and often ruthless approach to justice. This background makes his actions understandable but not always justifiable. In one scene, Yo-han orchestrates a brutal public punishment for a corrupt official, evoking a visceral reaction from the audience. Is this justice, or is it merely revenge masked as righteousness? Kang Yo-han's charm is as captivating as it is dangerous. His charisma draws people in, allowing him to manipulate public opinion and sway those around him. He understands the power of perception, using his televised courtroom as a platform to project an image of a righteous crusader. The dichotomy between Yo-han's public persona and his private self adds layers to his character. While he portrays a confident and unyielding figure in the courtroom, moments of vulnerability expose his inner turmoil. This duality underscores the price of power and the loneliness that often accompanies it. In a private moment, Yo-han reflects on his past, revealing a glimmer of the man he once was. The contrast between his public bravado and private despair speaks volumes about the sacrifices he's made. Despite his authority and power, Kang Yo-han's journey is marked by profound isolation. His inability to connect authentically with others, stemming from his traumatic past, leads to an emotional void. He often grapples with the fear that his quest for justice may ultimately alienate him from those he cares about. Kang Yo-han's character can be seen as a tragic hero, driven by a relentless pursuit of justice that often leads to his own downfall. His complexities make him a compelling figure who resonates with viewers, forcing them to confront uncomfortable truths about morality, power, and the human condition. Yo-han's first public trial establishes Yo-han's character as a ruthless figure, using spectacle and fear to his advantage. His cold, calculated approach raises questions about his true motivations. Is he driven by the greater good, or does he crave power and control? The scene where Yo-han confronts Kim Jae-on highlights the moral tension between Yo-han and Jae-on. Jae-on's strong moral compass contrasts sharply with Yo-han's cynicism. The confrontation exposes Yo-han's deep distrust of institutional justice and his belief that extreme measures are necessary to bring about change. Yo-han's encounter with young Sunah reveals a more vulnerable side of Yo-han. Despite his power, his interactions with Sunah hint at their personal history and the influence she has over him. Their rivalry adds complexity to his character, suggesting that Yo-han is not invincible and may have moments of weakness. Yo-han's emotional moment with Elijah shows Yo-han's vulnerability and his deep love for his niece, Elijah. It humanizes him and makes the audience question whether his harsh exterior is a defense mechanism to protect himself and those he cares about. These scenes highlight different aspects of Kang Yo-han's character: his ruthlessness, internal conflict, vulnerability, and capacity for love. They demonstrate his complexity and provide a more nuanced understanding of his motivations and actions, showing that he is not merely a villain or hero, but a deeply layered anti-hero. From the very beginning, Kang Yo-han presents a paradoxical view of justice, one where morality is subjective, and power is both his weapon and shield. He doesn't merely seek justice, he seeks control over it, leveraging the corrupt system against itself. In the finale, this culminates in a drastic plan to destroy the Foundation's elite in a literal explosion of their corrupt empire. His actions call into question the very nature of his justice. Has Yo-han achieved real transformation, or is he merely destroying one regime to build another in its place, with himself as the arbiter of right and wrong? During the final courtroom showdown, where Yo-han faces off with the elites, the audience witnesses the full scope of his vision. The explosive trial, live-streamed through the Dike app, becomes the battleground where he executes his final judgment. The physical destruction mirrors the moral collapse of the elite, but Yo-han's triumph feels tainted. The show challenges viewers to consider whether Yo-han is the solution or simply another iteration of the problem he set out to dismantle. Jae-on tells people that Yo-han isn't a criminal, but he's not a hero either. The final conversation between Yo-han and Jae-on is laden with emotional and thematic weight. Yo-han, who has used Jae-on as both a tool and a partner, now acknowledges that Jae-on's presence has softened his worldview, if only slightly. There's a bittersweet recognition that Jae-on carries the potential for a better future, a future Yo-han himself may not be part of. This scene captures Yo-han's internal conflict, where his desire for vengeance is at odds with his hope that Jae-on will carry forward a different vision of justice. Young Sunah, as Yo-han's foil, embodies the series' exploration of power and obsession. Where Yo-han seeks justice through control, Sunah craves domination purely for its own sake. Their rivalry throughout the series reaches its zenith in the final episodes, where their personal vendetta spills into a battle for the soul of the nation. Yet, even in her defeat, Sunah's actions push Yo-han to the brink, forcing him to confront the darkest parts of himself. The final confrontation between Yo-han and Sunah is less a victory and more a hollow conclusion. Sunah, who has manipulated and terrorized her way to the top, dies by her own hand after killing President Hyo. Yo-han's victory over her feels less like triumph and more like a tragic denouement, as it comes at a cost, both personal and societal. The cycle of manipulation and destruction they both engaged in leaves them empty, reminding viewers of the futility of power when stripped of purpose. Yo-han's relationship with his niece, Elijah, has always been the most humanizing element of his character. Despite his cold exterior, Yo-han's love for Elijah is one of his few genuine connections, and his desire to protect her drives many of his choices. In the finale, his decisions are rooted in safeguarding her future, even if it means sacrificing his own. In their final moments together, Yo-han's interaction with Elijah reveals the depth of his love and the weight of his internal conflict. Although much of his character is defined by cold calculation, his vulnerability with Elijah is a testament to the sacrifices he's made. His willingness to potentially give up his life for her safety and future provides an emotional undercurrent to the grandiose political machinations at play. In many ways, Elijah is the anchor that keeps Yo-han from fully succumbing to his darker impulses. One of the most compelling questions raised by the ending is whether Yo-han truly changes. Outwardly, Yo-han remains the same cold, calculating figure we've come to know. He orchestrates the downfall of the Foundation and manipulates events to his advantage up until the final moments. Yet, his relationships with Jae-on and Elijah suggest a shift. His willingness to sacrifice himself hints at an internal transformation, one where he places others before his own quest for vengeance. While Yo-han doesn't undergo a complete metamorphosis, there's enough ambiguity to suggest that he's evolved. In the end, Yo-han has faith in Jae-on's abilities, and after giving him a knowing nod outside the courtroom, he walks away. The pair have patched up their differences, and it leaves Jae-on free to try and reform the justice system. Kang Yo-han's arc in The Devil Judge presents a study in moral ambiguity. His impact on the ending is profound, as his choices force the audience to question the cost of justice and the price of vengeance. He begins as an anti-hero, and while he doesn't fully transition into a hero, he leaves viewers with an unresolved tension. Has he truly achieved his goal of justice, or has his vendetta consumed him entirely? The series leaves this question open, inviting a wide range of interpretations. What remains clear, however, is that Yo-han's actions ripple throughout the finale, shaping not just the fate of the characters but the very fabric of the world they inhabit. So, after everything we've seen, is Kang Yo-han truly a misunderstood hero, fighting for justice in a broken system, or has his quest for vengeance turned him into something just as corrupt as the very elites he wanted to destroy? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Kang Yo-han's character arc in The Devil Judge, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite dramas. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss any updates. Until next time, take care.